Well, hello, everybody. How lovely to have you with us. And welcome to all those from all around the world. I know. Absolutely delightful to have you here. And I'm really thrilled. So today, our webinar is going to be all about the personal paint path and the fan club and the competition winners of the Chasing Rainbows, and also a demonstration, which I'll be doing on the lovely Renee. And there will be time for question and answers as well at other times. So I'll introduce myself. My name is Juliet Eve, and I'm from Facade Academy. So it's the Academy of Face and Body Art, and I'm based in the UK. And I've got with me several wonderful supporters. I couldn't do it without them. First of all, I've got Manda Forster, and she's basically my operations manager and all-round fantastic rock star. I've got Amanda Careford, who is there, and she will be handling the chat box. She does loads of other things for me as well, but she's there. And then I've got Chris, who's my tech wizard. So let me start. I want you to picture in your imagination that there's me, 1991, July, it's a hot summer's day, and I'm sitting in a garden with my tiny baby, 3 months old, breastfeeding, and my little 21-month-old is playing around in the garden with a bunch of crayons, scribbling or digging up plants, what they normally do. And I was presented with a book, and the book was, I'll show you a picture in a second, but it was the Klutz face painting book. I think it came from America. And I was given that and was told, Juliet, right, you're doing the face painting. And I'm sure a lot of you come across the same sort of thing yourselves, but that was how I started, and I was just launched in the deep end, and it was great fun. So in those days, obviously, there was no online. So, yep, there's the picture of the face painting book that I was given all those years ago in 1991. And so then going back in history a little bit, you possibly don't know, but the first face painter as we know it, okay, was somebody I knew, a lady called Caro Childs. Obviously, before that, we have tribal face painting from all over the world. Yeah, here's one from North America, but it was in Africa and so on. But that's a whole nother story. But it was Caro Childs that I knew, not at the time. And again, try and picture her. This is 1963, approximately. And Caro went to a party with her miniskirt. She was a nurse. And at that party, she met Mary Quant's brother. And this is the interesting thing. Her brother, Mary Quant's brother, so that's the bus, right? Mary Quant was a very famous fashion designer of the 60s, and she really invented the mini skirt. That's where it came from. Anyway, her brother was at this party, and he was admiring Caro's beautiful flowers that she had on her face. And do you know what? 2 months later, Mary Quant brought out this special makeup, which was these wonderful crayons. And there they are. So that goes back to 1963 when those crayons came out. And so it began to become a bit popular. But that was about it. There was no face paint as such at this stage. Reel on forward a little bit, and Caro Childs and her friend Chris Caudron, they produced a book, well, through Usborne Books. And this was it. This is the face painting book. Some of you may have seen it, but this was produced in 1993. And then Caro met up with B.B. Freeman. Now, some of you may have even met or known or even been taught by B.B. Freeman and Caro. So they set up the London School of Face Painting. So really, that is where it all started. That's, you know, the history of the current style of face painting. So what I want you to bear in mind, it's a very new industry, really. Fast forward to today, and here we have dozens, thousands of tutorials of, we have YouTube, we've got Facebook groups. There's so many places where you can find information about face painting. However, I don't know how you feel about it, but it seems like there's so much, there's almost too much choice, and it takes you ages to wade through it all. It's like going into a shop and, oh, I don't know, seeing 50 different brands of butter, when you just want some butter. It's really difficult. So as I say, it takes so long to work out what you need. And even if you do think, oh, I think I need a butterfly, you look at it, you think, I've no idea how to paint that, or a monster, or I don't, it's very confusing, it's very overwhelming, but you are wasting loads and loads of time by searching for it. So this is where I came up with the whole personal paint path. As you may know, I've been teaching for about 17 years, but that's always in a classroom, and it's pretty straightforward for me to teach everyone who's in front of me. I can take them through, and that's how I've always taught. I'm a great believer, my whole philosophy is all about foundation skills. So I've always started at the beginning and teach everyone all the different paints, the different sponges and everything else. I teach them how to blend, how to do the line work, and then step by step, I teach them the basic, most important face paint designs that you need when you're out on the job. And I've always encouraged people to be a bit more inventive. So my great belief is, if you've got those basic skills, if you know how to do the sponging, how to do the line work, then you can invent whatever you want. Or you can look at a picture, somebody else's, and maybe you can design your own, or at least know how it was formed. You see so often people will say, well, how did you do that? Could you give me a step by step? And as I say, it's all complicated. So I developed the personal paint path, okay, the PPP, as it will become known probably. So the personal paint path, and you can see it really as a face painter's sat nav. So it's very much a pathway starting at the beginning as a beginner, and you can see where you're going at the end, and that is your where you can launch yourself and become a professional face painter. So teaching you all the skills as we go. What I'd like to do now is show you the introduction video where it explains it all better than me. So let's just play that one. From newbie to skilled professional, follow the personal paint path along the rainbow to your pot of gold. I'm going to explain how the paint path works. Now, this is a brand new concept to take the confusion and guesswork out of becoming a face painter. I've designed it to include the essential elements needed to reach your goal. You simply follow the steps one by one, ticking them off as you go. The paint path is well signposted, it's clear, and of course, very colourful. Starting with step 1, the tools of the trade. Step 2 is all the practical painting skills of sponging and line work. Then on to the most popular and useful designs like big cats, butterflies, one-strokes, monsters. And then step 3 is business, because you'll need to market to the world, showing what a skilled face painter you are whilst looking after your finances. And then step 4 is the essential knowledge of protecting your clients and yourselves. So insurance, risk assessments, and your physical and mental well-being. And the final step is your pot of gold. You can launch yourself into the wonderful world of face painting and call yourself a skilled professional. If, however, you've been painting a while or fairly experienced, you may wish to join further along the path. So just find which steps you feel confident with,
and those you may have missed, and then rejoin the path where it suits you. So using the personal paint path means you don't miss out on any important steps along the way. Each step will be a live link taking you straight to the lesson. I hope that helps you understand the personal paint path.
Right, well, I hope that's clear enough. It explains. I don't have to repeat it then. So if you've got any questions about that, please do put them in the chat box if there's anything but you know, at the end, I certainly will take lots of questions as well. So the paint path is part of the FAM Club. So the FAM Club stands for Facade Academy Members Club. So it's a subscription club. And in there, we run weekly classes, and they are all recorded. So literally every week I'm there live teaching whatever it is. Every month we have a different subject. So it might be butterflies, it might be monsters or whatever. It's there for a whole month. And they're all recorded and they're put up on the FAM Club website. Then every week as well, I have what are called bonus sessions or feedback sessions. And so any member of the FAM Club can come and join. They just sign up, and they're really small groups. They're maximum 10, and people come along and ask anything. You know, it could be queue management, it could be how to paint a you know, a dragonfly or cat's ears or whatever it is. It can be absolutely anything. And again, it's live. There's me, and I talk everyone through it, and everyone can listen and comment. And it's a good old chat place as well, so we get to know each other. Then every month we always have a guest instructor. And this month, sorry, not this, well, yeah, this month actually I've got Erica Wofford. But in the past, we've had Mark Reed, we've had Nick Wolf, you know, top painters, basically. Then also there are loads and loads of business resources. So you can download a risk assessment or a disclaimer form or whatever else, how to get your insurance, and so on and so on. And then we also, because our membership is growing, we've been able to get wonderful discounts for everybody through the top retailers. So that can be found there. And also not forgetting that we have the Facebook page. So it's a private members group. Sounds very good, doesn't it? Private members group. And yeah, it's where everyone shares their work. We put announcements up, people chat, get to know each other, and so on. So that's how that works. And the membership itself, at the moment, it's £27 until the 16th of April. Just thought I'd tell you that now. So before I go on anymore, I'd like you to see what some of the members have said already. So I thought we'll play a little video and you can see what they've had to say.
I think I like the fact that each month is different. I also like the fact that it is every month.
I really just loved the way that you teach techniques, you teach concepts, you teach the fundamentals.
The thing I love about it is the fact that it takes you through all the different stages of becoming a face painter. It's stripping you down to basics, it's learning new skills. It's been absolutely amazing for me to learn from Juliet.
I also like the fact that you can have regular feedback, which is invaluable, and the fact that you can ask any face painting related question. It doesn't necessarily have to be for the theme that the week has just been on.
Feedback sessions, they are absolutely wonderful. Not enough people take advantage of these. These are having feedback most of the time, one-to-one, on your work. It's been a game changer for me, and the way that Juliet would talk through how to do things, how to paint things. She's really good at describing different techniques that suits you.
From a teacher's perspective, you are really positive and encouraging, which is fantastic.
Everybody's encouraging, everyone's supportive, everyone gives you fantastic feedback, constructive feedback. No one's ever afraid to ask questions.
And really having high standards for yourself and your business, which then obviously is reflected in the work that you produce.
Fan club has got everything that I need. It's got everything from where, you know, what paints to buy, where to buy them, the suppliers. You've got like helpful handouts regarding what brushes, what could be used for each stroke. It's just, for me, it's got everything that I've needed to know to become and learn to become a face painter. There's nothing else to say on that. I think it's just fantastic how it is.
Definitely fan club.
Hi, lovely. That's great. So there you are. There's what other people think. It's not just me. But I thoroughly enjoy doing it. It's absolutely, deep in me. So what I'm going to show you now is how it works, because you're probably wondering, how on earth it does work. In fact, Amanda, I don't know if there's any specific questions that I could address at this stage, or shall I continue to share?
The only one question was, will we be adding more things to it? And I said, obviously, the weekly lives will be added, and then additional business resources as and when they become necessary. But obviously, that will be communicated to all members. So I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, I think I'll probably reassess after a while and see how it's going. We've been running just over the year, and so I am sort of, I'll be honest, I'm developing things and changing things, adjusting things, depending on any feedback or what the members want. But the paint path, I've tried to keep it as the essentials to me. That was what was the most important thing. But certainly, yeah, any updates would definitely be on there. And then we'll develop, because it doesn't include every class that I've done. So there will be sort of scope for people to branch on further beyond that path. I don't know where it would go. What should we call it? Beyond the yellow brick road, It's further on than that anyway. There's the personal paint path. Can you see at the top of the screen? You can see that all okay now, everyone?
Yeah, you can see that.
Really good. Super. So as I say, underneath there are all the other products that we've done. You can see they go on and on. There's quite a lot there, and the business and so on. So the personal paint path, click on that. And at the top, it says introduction, and that's the bit that you saw just now. We played that to you earlier. How to use the personal paint path, the instructions, how to use it. So I am going to tell you that now, but if you need to go back to, that's where they are. And the launch, you don't need that. That's when I was chatting to the fan club members recently. So here we are, personal paint path checklist. So this is what we want. And there it is, the actual rainbow path, step 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're ready. And you can see all the little tick boxes down here below. And basically, as you go through the steps, you can tick them off. So you can either print it out, or you can do it online. So if I click here in the center, personal paint path checklist, that is a JPEG. So it's appeared in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen, and I could open it up there. What I'm going to do, though, is go to, so here we are, click here to access paint path resources. So we'll go straight in there. And here we are. So there's all the 4 or 5 steps. You're ready is the 5th step. And again, the instructions video is on the right. You can look at that at any time. And again, you can download the checklist here. So if I click that, it opens up as a PPF, yes. So here you can literally click as you do them. So click on paint or whatever, butterflies. And on each of those, by the way, you can give yourself, you can download your own certificate to show that you've done it. So I'm just going to go back to here. And this is where we can access step by step. So this is the page that's most useful. So step 1, tools of the trade. So see, we've got these lovely spinny boxes. I like playing with them. Thanks, Chris, he built these. So for instance, on paints, there's a little purple box there, which is the access box. So you click on that and it takes you to the paints. I'll just show you another one. So there's sponging, line work, butterflies, big cats, and so on. There's monsters. Let's look on monsters. Okay, there's the purple box, access here. I click on that and it takes me to all the products for the Monsters month. So week 1 was all about the theory and skills. And the top 2 there under week 1 are the videos that were recorded during that week of my training. And then the third one here is sketches, just sort of reference sketches. And then week 2, I did a live tutorial on a model and the designs were there. And week 4 was actually when we had Nick Wolf came in and he taught the most fantastic class on dinos. And it was quite long, so we split it. So we've got Nick Wolf's question and answers there as well, and all the designs. So there we are. So that's Monster. So I can go back to the paint path.
Juliet, do you have lots of guest instructors?
Yes. So every single month we have a guest instructor. We've had, what can I say? Had Zoe Thornbury Phillips, we've had Mark Reed, we've had Wendy Holroyd, Gillian Child. Oh, can you list some more? Said Nick Wolf. We've had one every month.
Dutch Bihari.
Say that again. Oh yes, we had Dutch on as well.
Karen Hewen.
Karen Hewen. Yeah, so there's lots. Anyway, every single month we have a specialist guest instructor. And then, so that's step 2, is all the main most useful things that you'll need. And there's a 1-stroke. Oh, we had Debs Mills in on 1-stroke. Then there's planning. So literally, this is all about your business. Okay, so this is planning, the marketing, the admin, and the finance. So that's all there. And again, you can just click on any of those and go straight to where the information is. And then managing risk, which is the health and safety. So all the risk assessments and so on. Ergonomics, looking after your back. Very, very important. So I don't just talk about painting. We talk about, you really, how important it is to look after yourself. So yeah, I think that shows all that. Unless anyone's got any questions specifically there. If not, I'll stop sharing.
No, there's no specific questions.
Jolly good. Okay, well, I'll stop share there. Excuse me. Okay, so there it is. I've told you about the paint path. I've told you about the fan club. And really now it's up to you. I've shown you the paint path and you can take that and you can run with it. I've shown you all the different skills. And again, you practice and you'll make it. The business skills, you've just got to download whatever they are, the disclaimers and everything else. I mean, I've even got, inquiry forms, standard letters to send out. So you apply them to your business. Yeah, the risk assessment, again, you've got to fill it in for yours. So really, it is up to you. It's up to you to get your mindset. I am a business person. I can do this. It's so important you tell yourself that. And I say it over and over and over again as well. But you can go at your own pace. That's the point. You follow that paint path at your own pace. And if at any stage you need help, I am here. I mean, it's me. It's not just a recorded video. I am here. So you can always sign up for one of the bonus sessions and we can have a chat and talk through it. And at the end, what you have, you can, when you've ticked all those boxes off, you can download your own beautiful certificate and display it maybe wherever you're working or just in your sitting room, wherever you want. And you can tell yourself, you know, just think how much you've achieved working through all that. So it's a fantastic sense of achievement, and it will give you such confidence, you know, self-worth, that you really can be a face painter. So I hope really that it's saving you loads of time, stopping that search, endless search of what do I need to learn. You know, it's all there. That's the idea. And as I say, I'm always up for feedback from you guys to, you know, how I can help you. So any other
Julia,
questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I know you're obviously going to show us some of your wonderful floral painting now, which I'm definitely looking forward to, as I'm sure everybody else is. But if somebody wanted to sign up tonight to Fan Club, what would they need to do?
Okay, there's several ways. So if you look in the chat box, you will see the link, and you can literally click on there and it will take you to the place where you can sign up. So you can do that. And as I say, it's 27 a month up until the 16th, and then it's going up to 37. The other place you'll find the link will be on the Face Painters support group, if you're not already a member. The other place is that you will, oh yeah, on the last reminder email you got this afternoon, which should have been 10 minutes before, you will have got the link there, so you can click on there. Plus, you'll get an email tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow anyway, which will have all the details there as well.
There is another question in the chat. Is the paint path and the fan club the same thing?
Yes, yes. I'm sorry if I've confused any of you. It's just the fan club has been running for the year, and I wanted to introduce the paint path to kind of streamline it a little bit more and give it a very clear path. That's the idea. So basically they are one and the same thing. If you join the fan club, you can then follow the paint path. You follow that rainbow road to the pot of gold. So they are the same thing. They're completely integral. So there we have Renee. And now's my challenge, because I've designed something, yet painted it on a face. So there we go. Let me show you what I'm aiming for, although I'm a bit scared to do that. So sorry about it. So this is roughly what I'm aiming for. So it's a kind of rainbow floral design. So it's going to be something like that. Probably not exactly the same, but I hope I can show you a little bit of teaching almost here. So I'm going to show all sorts of different strokes. Yeah, so it's a bit like a little bit of a mini lesson in a way. I thought I'd just stick to a bit of line work on this one. Oh, I'll give her a little bit of eyes, I think. So Renee is kindly, she's one of my regular models in the fan club, actually. So all those who are members will know her. We're just getting a sponge. There we are. And I'm also going to use lots of different brushes because I thought it'd be quite fun to show you how each one can work. So I'm going to start with a 366. So I'm going to give a few guidelines first of all. This is it's actually a Rosemary & Co. As some of you may know, but I'm soon to be developing my own brush brand, and this is a it has no marks on it. It's a special, but it's anyway, so off we go. Let's start with some guidelines. So as I say, trying to do a rainbow and florals. So as I always do is put I'm going to put a little bit of sponging on her eyelids. I think I'll do a little bit of a metallic blue. I used one of my big sponges, I usually do. So a little bit of, I try a little bit of light blue. And just a little bit of kind of makeup-y look almost. There we are, I just thought it needed a little bit there. So that was just a baby blue. It's actually DFX baby blue. Okay, now I'm going to get this amazing brush with its wonderful point, and we're going to give us some guidelines. So it's one there, then I'm going to take that center one, because rainbows have got 7 colours. I don't know if you know, there's a little acronym which is Richard of York gave battle in vain. Okay, Richard of York gave battle in vain. So that's the way to remember it. So we're going to have our red over here, and then a yellow, an orange and a yellow. And then we're going to have green as the center, some blue, indigo and violet. It's something like that, right? So now I'm going to get my one stroke, and I'm going to use a, yes, just lean in, usual fashion, you know the so I'm using a green, what's it called, snake. I think it's a DFX snake. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of leafiness across the top here. With one stroke. It's just a kind of starting point. A bit wonky, so I'll just get it a little bit more even. And this is basically how I conduct my lessons in the every week, is talking through, and my lovely model will always lean forward and show you in great detail what's going on. So I'm just adding a little bit of edge on the eyes. Just 3. 3 is always a magic number. And then we're going to, so now I'm going to get back to that lovely fine brush that I had before with a beautiful point, and I've just got a DFX metallic green here. It's probably one of my favorite greens. So we're just going to take a little wiggly line here. So these are kind of the branches, if you like, or more like twigs of the different flowers I'm going to put in. And it's a matter of space, you know, you can't always do this on every child. You might have to adjust it slightly. I'm going to try and get all 7 colours up here, but, you know, if you couldn't, you can always take 2 of them maybe down to the sides. You might have to put just sort of 5 at the top and the other 2 somewhere else. And that's what we do. We just play. That's what I encourage you to do. I've never been one to say, you know, this is a face paint, copy it exactly. I'm very much all about, here's some ideas, here's some techniques, and now take it and run with it your way. Yeah. And often in my classes, you know, things don't always go perfectly, and I'll say, didn't quite work, but hey, what to do when it goes wrong is add this or take away that or whatever. So I just want to add a few little with this amazingly fine. It's a number 6, but it has a super, really fantastic thin tip. So you can use it as a liner, or you can press down and make thicker lines if you want. So that's how I use it as a liner. Now I need to use a slightly smaller, it's basically the same kind of brush, but this is a number 4. And I'm going to show you how I do what are called switch swipe. And it's I kind of invented. I mean, I'm sure, well, the name I invented, I'm sure it's been used before in time, but basically I fill my brush with a light color, in this case, a light green, really fill it. And this is a lovely pointy brush again. Really very pointy brush. So filled it up, and then I get my darker green. I'm actually going to use the one in here, and then you swipe through a dark green. So now you look at my brush, I've got light on that side, dark on that side. So if you go halfway, as you make a stroke, you've actually got dark on one side of it and light on the other. So I'm going to create some little leaves down the center here. And they can be really, really fine. This has such a beautiful tip, so it does the most beautiful TTT strokes. That's thin, thick, thin, for the uninitiated. Okay, so that's going to be the green anyway. We'll just take a few more, and I'll take a few from the corner of her eye as well. Again, 3, so one will be slightly longer and the other will be shorter. I could add a few little leaves of some of these. Again, I always say, you don't have to do everything as I say. You can change it. I've just decided I thought I might put a few little leaves on the ends of those. So this is a number 4, as I say. To refill, I wet the brush slightly cleaned it, and I'm filling up with more of the light green. And then I'm going to swipe through that dark green again. So there we are, we've got dark on one side and light on the other. Okay. And we'll do a few more here. They are such beautiful tips on these brushes. That's what I love about them. There we go. All right, let's add a few more. I mean, that could almost be a standalone face, particularly if I put a bit of a background in it. Okay, so now we're going to add all the different flowers. This should be fun. So let me show you different brushes for different flowers. Now I've got here, this came from Craze. This is a Craze FX brush. What's it called? A petal. So it's kind of stubby. I can't say it's my favorite, but it's a different kind of brush, and I do like using all sorts of variations. So for this, I'm going to load it with red, because for this top section here, this branch, I'm going to start my Richard of York. So R for red, Richard. So R. So I've got loaded up with this lovely strong dark red, which is DFX Essential. And then I'm going to add a very tiny tip of black, which will, so you can probably guess what they're going to be. is poppies. Any other questions yet? So there's my black. I'm just going to tip very tip with it. And I'm going to make my little poppies. And you can do this kind of by rolling this brush. You kind of just twist it round a bit. Another one here. Pretty random. I'm not being very specific. But it gives the effect of something red. So next brush I'm going to use will be so toss up here. Yes, I think I'll use this is a Sparkling Faces brush. Has no number, but I think it was a number 1. It came when I was at the UK Face Painting Convention last October. It was free in the kit. And this is from Sparkling Faces in Liechtenstein. So this is where I'm going to go for the orange, and I'm going to make, I don't know, sort of marigolds, really. So I want tiny little thin petals. It's going to go in here. So first of all, I put centers. So I put some dots, lean right in there. Can you see I've put a few little dots so you can see, it just gives me some guidelines so I know where I'm going to and from. Okay, and now I add, so with this brush you can kind of pull in or you can come out. Because these are so thin, it doesn't really matter if they're not perfect. I can go either way for speed. Just sweep in and out. They're very tiny. I decided I need a bit more paint actually, otherwise they won't show at all. So you can either do a teardrop, which is from thin and then press to make it thick, or you can just press at the outside and pull in, which is a comma stroke. They're rather tiny. Anyway, on the fan club, all this is explained in much better detail. I just thought I'd just test myself, really. See how many of different strokes I could show you in one little class. Again, when you're doing this kind of thing, it doesn't have to be so precise. Now, that's just the start. But what I thought I'd do is then rub my, so I've still got the orange on that brush, and I'm going to go into my yellow and make it an orangey yellow. So for the petals that are on top. So I'll just go round again. And because the petals on the top would catch a bit more light, the ones at the back, underneath, will be slightly in the dark, in the shadow. And this adds a bit more definition as well. And again, it might look a little bit random, but when I put the centers in, you know, when I put a little dot in the center, you will see it more clearly. Okay, now the next brush I'm going to use, you can find it, yes, that's it. Now this is a Rosemary & Co, and this is a filbert, but it's a very tiny filbert, quite a skinny little thing, not very wide. I don't often use it, but it works very well for this next little flower I'm going to do, which I think they're called Black-Eyed Susan. So it's a yellow little flower petal with a black center. So I'm just filling up with some yellow with my little filbert. And again, this is a different brush stroke again. So I press the tip down and pull to the center. Yeah, I'll do it on my hand so you can see it more clearly maybe. So if that's the center, I press the tip and just pull it in. I just want a little short stroke. Just pressing the tip. Yeah, and then I'll put the center in. So let me just do those quickly. You get the idea. So we're working through the rainbow. It's got a bit of green underneath it, but never mind, I'll go over again when it's dry. And you learn to just tilt and roll the brush so you can get it at lots of different angles. Kind of go over the orangey one because it was in the way. And if I take one down here, why not? There we go. Perhaps we can. Maybe I'll just put a little one over there. There we go. So there's my yellow. Then we go to the other side. And we're going to go for a sort of light blue. And I did this with a kind of dotter brush. So I want a tiny wee little dotter brush. Now you could use, well, there's all sorts of things you can use, but I'm going to go for my, this is called, this is another rosemary co. It's a pointed round. It's quite stiff, this one. I don't use it very often. But I want to make something like buddleia or lilac maybe, which has those kind of long cone-shaped collection of buds, flowers. So let's go. So I'm going to do a kind of circle and then make a little pointy bit. So it's like a sort of cone shape, I suppose you could say. I think we'll do another one. I'll do. It's 5 there. On its own, it's not enough. So I'm now going to just dip my brush into a tiny bit of dark blue. Just, it's the same light blue, but I'm just going to rub it in a tiny bit of dark blue and just add a little bit more to give it a bit of definition. It's not enough. So I'll just wet the brush a little bit more and pick up a little bit more blue. There we go. We'll just give it a bit more depth. Always recommend that if you are doing flowers, always add another colour. So there we are, a little bit more. There we go. So that's the buddleia, lilac, whatever it is. Now the next one I'm going to do,
Juliet, there's a question in the chat.
Yep.
Where would you usually paint this sort of design, as I'm guessing it wouldn't be on the job with it being lengthier and more intricate? That's from Kimberly.
Right, well, you can speed it all up. I'm taking a lot longer anyway. But for instance, you could certainly do all the one stroke on the outside, so the top and the outside. Then you could do a smaller amount of each colour. So you could do, say, 3 petals of red, 3 of orange, 3 of yellow, and that won't take you too long. And believe it or not, I do often do things like this because if I've done it once, next time is much quicker anyway. And I would probably simplify it. And also the child that wants it, you know, has probably got, I don't know, a smaller forehead anyway, so you haven't got that much space. So you might have to just change the whole angle. You might just have to take it as a kind of, you could put the green going the other way up, for instance, heading up there, and then have your colours curving down. Yeah, so it's just, what I'm showing you here is different petals, different flowers, and think about how you can paint them. And, you know, it'd be lovely to see anyone else's interpretation and change it. I don't know if that helps you, Kimberly. Right, I'm now going for a purple, I think. So I've got, this is a DFX metallic purple. It's one of the most useful colours. It's always in my kit and has been since Wolf came out, actually, since Wolf Paints, which has got to be coming on for 20 years nearly. It's a really strong colour. It's fantastic for line work, a little bit strong for blending for bases, but it still works. Okay, now I'm going to do different sort of petals. So this is like your classic double dip technique, that's it. So I'll put a center, I'll do it with my hand first. So I'll put a center, and then I'm going to do with this very pointy brush, again, this is a 366. The point is on the outside, and I'm going to press towards the center. So point is on the outside. I can't remember what this flower is called, but it's got pointed petals. So that's what I'm going to do. So it's quite quick once you've got the hang of it. So let's do some of these. So again, if you give yourselves guidelines, so some points and dots where I'm going to put the flowers, and then I've got a, you keep it more central. So and I want to press quite hard as I come into the center, because I want that contrast between the thin outside and the thick middle. Yeah. And I've got to leave room up here for my lavender. It'll be lavender, which will be with a sort of pinky colour. There we go. Now, to make these stand out a bit more, what I'm going to do is get that baby blue, and so this is DFX baby blue, it's a metallic again, and I'm going to make a smaller little shape in the center of those. Now you could have done this as a double dip, but it makes a different effect, this effect. So I'm going to just press very lightly on each petal. It's close-up work, I know it's quite difficult to see. Let me show you on my hand. So there it was. So what I'm doing is making a smaller little press inside the purple, so that in effect you've got an edge all the way around of the purple. So it almost looks like you've outlined it in purple, but I haven't. I think I've made these a little bit too much bluey, but never mind. It's different, always different, always different. Every one I do is different. Okay, so there's that bit. And now finally, we're going to go in with, I'm going to show you how to use a rake brush. I've used lots of different brushes today. So this is a rake brush. Can you see that it's got longer bristles on the very end? And what I'm going to do is swipe it through a one stroke. Actually, I'll do it cheaty method. So what I'm going to do is, as you know, I've just used my purple. I'm going to fill my brush with a sort of pinky colour, completely fill it. And then just on one edge, I'm going to pick up, find a wetter bit, a bit of purple, so that when you make a mark, it's got lots of colours in it. It's got the two colours. So now we just want to do very quick sort of dabs, long dabs, a bit like heather or lavender. Can you see? Lean right in. Yeah, it's quite difficult to see because it's metallic. It would have been easier, you know, probably if I did it with a solid colour, but you can see there on my hand. if you make a little mark like that, you get two colours on it. Right, so what we're going to finish off with, oh, I know, let's finish off with a little bit of gold.
Rena has asked, did you say the thin brushes you used for the fine lines are Rosemary & Co. size 6 and 3? She really needs a fine brush with a sharp point.
Absolutely. Well, what they are, until mine is produced, the one you need is a 366. Okay, that's got a super, super sharp point. So a 366. This is a number 6, but I was using a 4 as well. So it's series 366. And I'll show you just how wonderful it can be. So this is Kryolan Interference Bronze, and I use it as a gold. So you make that good and wet, and you can pull it to the most fantastic point. Again, that's how thin the point goes, but you can also make it really thick like that. That's the beauty of this brush. Whoops, sorry. Okay, so I'm now going to add a bit of gold to this design just for fun, just because I can. So we'll just take a bit of gold here and there, and wherever you want. Just makes it fun. You can add it exactly where you like, because it really picks up the light. I might actually just take it on her eyelids as well. And some eyeliner, oh, and the lips. Amazing lip colour. That's too much. There we go. It's fantastic lip colour. And a little bit more on the other side. How are we doing? We're not bad for time. I know it may have taken a while, but I just wanted to, I suppose, do a little bit of a showstopper in a way. And I've loved it. Such fun being able to take a bit of time. There we go. Hope nobody's bored. I know what, I just want to add some centres to some of those flowers. So again, I just need a little dotter brush. Let's use this one. This is my, I'm sure a lot of you have got this one. This is the old Lower Cornell 795. Let's pick up some black.
Kirsty has asked, will this be added to fan club, this video?
Yes, it will. We're going to separate it out into this demo and also the, you know, the whole video will be, I think we're going to put it on YouTube so that it can be seen by anybody. So that's black centers. Those are the, what I call the black-eyed Susans. And then I'm going to get some white and put some centers in the marigold thingies.
I don't think anyone's bored, Julia. I think everyone is watching avidly. There's a couple of comments saying amazing, and we're all sat watching in awe.
Oh, I meant to put some little dots there. Anyway, gone a bit bigger, but hey.
It is absolutely beautiful, really beautiful.
Well, as I always say to people, you know, if you just sit down at your table with your paints, listen to the radio, podcast, whatever, and just play, get your paints out. I like to get books out. I work from books so much. I've got all sorts of reference books. It could be books of flowers. It could be, oh, I don't know, absolutely anything. Decorative, architectural features. That's what I love. Sort of historical, or you know, Art Nouveau styles from over the centuries. And yeah, what else we've got? You know, it's tempting to put a load of white and dots and things, but I don't want to. I'm just going to leave it like that, I think. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to actually put any glitter on, simply because when we come to doing photographs, the poor camera freaks out a little bit. But anyway,
Julia,
Renee, thank you very much.
Can I just tell you this comment? Kimberly has said, if I can paint like this after the paint path, sign me up.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I can't promise you'll paint like this after a year, but you will be able, you will have the confidence to be able to put things together. You know, you will learn how to do one strokes. You will learn all the different brushes and how to use them. I've used, I don't know how many different brushes here, about 10 or something. I wouldn't normally on a job, because you learn how to adjust. In fact, I haven't even used the dagger. Lots, but I have done a little bit of sponging, which is normally a base, but it really didn't need it. It would have been too much. And anyway, she's too gorgeous to add too much to it. There we are. It was fun. I'm in my happy place, painting, brush in hand. So yeah, that's what I love, and that's why I love doing the paint path so much, and the fan club. I love showing people how to paint, and I love encouraging people, because I always say this at beginner face painters. You know, people say, "Oh, I can't paint a stick man." You know, you don't have to. This is a skill that can be taught. I promise you, it really can. So, you know, if this has inspired you, like Kimberly was saying, then, you know, please do sign up. That would be wonderful. The details, as you say, will be on the chat box. There'll be, at the end of this, actually, it will say Facade Academy Co.UK. So if you go onto that website, you can find it, or if it'll be in the email, it'll be all over the place. I'm sure you'll find it, or message me if you can't find it anywhere else. Yeah, so let's just recap. I told you about the paint path. I told you about the fan club. We did the competition. That was lovely. And you've done a demo. So really, it's just to say that I would, yeah, love you to come and join me on this wonderful world of face painting, paint path. As I say, it's £27 up until the 16th of April. Then it will go up to 37. So that's why all you lot have got the chance to sign up quickly. There's an annual fee as well, which is cheaper. You save 2 months if you sign up for a year as well. So it saves you a lot of money. And just think, I mean, at the moment, 270. If you're out there working, any of you, that's 2 gigs.
Julia,
it's
can I just clarify, if somebody signs up before the price increase, will their monthly rate stay at £27 a month, and how long for?
Absolutely. They will stay at 27 and until I'm no longer painting. So, you know, yes, the founder members last year, they signed up, and they signed up at 17, the very first people, and they're still there. They haven't changed. So it's 27, and it's yeah, as I say, from 16th of April up to 37. So getting quick. As I say, once again, thank you very much indeed for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. So greatly appreciate it. And I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you, and bye-bye.